Hello, dear friends. This is Eric, tuned in to the latest updates in and around Ukraine. An English voice for a reflection of the report of our usual anchorman, Yakuza. Let's get to the news. The first news flash is going to be a daring statement of European Commission Vice President Kaja Kallas, stating that indeed, since Ukrainian membership in NATO is no longer on the table, we must see to real guarantees of its independence and territorial sovereignty and not some paper. Only real strength as real, actual military capacity can guarantee that. Oh, that's a shock. Now take this. Ukrainian pipe dream politicians had already written their desire to join in with the NATO into constitution. Hard on. That same NATO that historically was always a geopolitical rival and the threat to Russian interests. Sounds like another no-go kind of dead end on their part. European leaders, on the other part, are getting more and more reluctant to grant a NATO membership to Ukraine, consistently backing down. Why was it written into Constitution in the first place? Why must it remain a tragic reminder for inability to strike a real peace? Kallas has also mentioned a bit of a strain of European financial resources to further back their Ukrainian cat pawns. What else could one expect when pushing a nation to the state of total war? Our next big news comes directly from Mr. John Bolton. A former key advisor of United States President has spoken that it should be a wise decision to lift age restriction for a forced conscription in Ukrainian military, shifting the line from 25 to 18 years as of making way to expand on human resources. The guy must be a real fan of Paraguay once-be dictator Francisco Solano Lopez, like a guy who drawn the majority of his nation's population in the bloody conflict. Now for Ukraine, with a million lost to carnage on war front, Father 10 fleeing, and the remaining men hiding under any rock and hole they can find until they can jump ship, it seems like a same story. Any attempts of 18 to 24 campaign to contract young men into butcher house has failed rather drastically. So listen to an old wise man, Sir Zelensky. He's gonna direct your nation fallen demographic right on a highway express to hell. Now for jokes. Remember that pesky KIIS armchair poll center that types state-approved social reports for a fat paycheck? Oh, they did another half-assed attempt to get Zelensky into Performance Star by prying his supposed ratings way up 61% of the polls. That's after those Mindich tapes kind of debacle, one I add. Someone believes this, right guys? Let's just see if those self-proclaimed social pundits could make more embarrassment of themselves in the next real year, where numbers run rampant and reality is twisted with smoke and the mirror. Guess when conflict gets settled, people would find out many more of these numbers bloated, twisted, and manipulated to the heart's content. Prime Minister of Slovakia, as Mr. Fico, has stated in his Facebook, Ukraine is a black hole that swallows billions of euros, rational economic policy, and the very hope for future of entire European community. Yep, hard logic. Bravo! Yet, it's not only Ukrainian folks' fault, since you might remember a small thing called Euromaidan, backed by European leaders, frequent in visiting their butts, wreaking chaos and calling shots. The same leaders that call for backing the regime by whatever it takes, even to the edge of pushing their economies, on their brink. Moreover, PISA believes that it's completely out of touch to even consider Ukrainian membership application to European Union before January 1st, 2027, just as it mentioned in peace regulative programs presented by some media outlets. So much for Maidanite dreams and visions they shattered. Hopes for European daydream. Visions of prosperity, of real stability, of social progress, all butchered on altar for those who joined Maidan. Their lives, ironically, became sacrificial on the same altar of a faint dream, looking ever more narrow. Was it worth it? That's a rhetorical question. The Washington Post has reported Kiev and parts of eastern Ukraine just experienced proper blackouts and are just a step ahead from complete disaster. Overall, their take looks pessimistic for Ukrainian regime and envision a future of parts of country separated to those who have power as literal electric power and those who doesn't. It might get tough for aging Ukrainian electric infrastructure to hold out another harsh winter under such issues. What a terror. Something like that, Union for Communal Services head Papenko gets similar take, announcing 20 to 22 hours outages in Kiev, while temps drop -5°C. People are occasionally not happy. In Dnepr, protesters blocked street traffic to address their rage against ongoing electric troubles. It was hard to survive with previous, far milder outages. How would they manage now? Another conscription victim, Odessa townsfolk called Nazar Uzhvi, had cut himself to avoid forced mobilization to front lines, but TCR officials, as territorial centers for recruitment, once again stated they have nothing to answer for in this take. No illegal activity. By the man's own words, he was just riding his bike when the TCR goons blocked the road, kicked him hard, and forced to the nearest recruitment center, district of Kievsky. Poor guy admitted he managed to avoid captivity by escaping the aforementioned conscription facility. He also tells that he's illegally approached in the first place, since he has papers confirming the so-called white ticket status of citizen unfit for conscription due health. Nazar also uncovered inhuman conditions in which conscripts are held, in severe cold, barely lit aging basement, devoid even of basic needs like water. And that's for days. Folks are outraging by government blatant attempts to improve on TCR standing and gaslighting city folks to believe it's their fault for avoiding conscription in the first place. All of backlash is explained away or hand-waved as fakes, or generated pictures, or edited out pro-Russian narrative. It's all for today, guys. Don't get desperate. We have a hard winter ahead of us, but it also may be full of nice things to come. Let's hope for peace and better change for all of our peoples. This is Eric, your guide to treacherous Ukrainian politics and a member of Maxim Krivonos Battalion. Stay always strong and never lose